Hey, friend.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm good. How's my audio? Is it okay?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
I always like have audio issues and then people don't tell me until I'm like 15 minutes into something and people are like, I can't hear you. Yeah. So hello, ladies. How are you all?
Good.
Okay,
How are
so
you?
fun. I'm good. I'm good. But fun fact, I was actually focusing and not checking my phone. And the ladies text me and they're like, we're scrambling. We can't find a place to go live. Can we skip? And that's fine. I told them that they can skip jumping on, but we can still dive into social if you guys would like. I kind of, Michaela, you do a ton of social. I do a ton of social. And
Yeah,
talk about marketing in general and just kind of what's working and not working in our business. So are you guys good with pivoting today?
Sure.
I'm
I'm
ready
brand new.
whenever.
So I'm just here. Yeah, I'm here
Okay,
to soak
good.
everything up from you
Good.
all.
I love it. I love it. And I saw Ashley popped on here. Hey, friend. So, real quick, I don't know if any of us know each other. So, I would love to just kind of really introduce everybody since we're a smaller call today. And so, I'm Randi. I'm half the duo of moms in real estate. I am a producing agent in the state of Nevada. I'm a mom, a grandma, and I guess like to sum me up, faith, family, real estate, and I'm a little sassy. So, yeah, that's who I am. And I have also built my business by design. So I very much believe in using social to show up authentically and to attract the type of people you want to work with. And I'm at the point in my career where I really love not working with people I don't want to, although it does still happen. I just don't have to do it as often. So that's who I am. Michaela, do you want to go next and kind of go around?
Sure. So I'm Michaela Hale. I live in the Florida Panhandle. I was an investor first for about 6 years before I decided to get my real estate license. I've been licensed for quite a while now, and I love working with my investor clients. I'm also a an investor, so I have about 201 doors right now, so long-term and short-term properties that make up my portfolio. And I self-manage all of my short-term properties and long-term properties. So I stay pretty busy with that. I also created a women's group, much like Connect and Cultivate. And if that was an offering at the time that I started working with Kristen, I would have jumped all over it. But my community group is empowered by connection. And I get women together on a monthly basis, multiple times a month, to do various events to bring women in entrepreneurship and business together. So I kind of wear a lot of hats, but I think all of us do. I'm a mom, I own a chocolate company as well. So kind of do a lot of different things, but my heart and passion really lies with supporting other women and growing their businesses. So
Love that. Super excited to have you on. And Michaela gives us all FOMO when she posts like these beautiful beach retreat opportunities. And I live in the desert and I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody take me to the
yes,
beach right
come
now.
visit anytime. Come visit me.
I love that. So I don't want to mess it up. Is it Elisa?
Yeah, Elisa.
Okay, good. I got it right. Elisa,
Perfect.
would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, I'm new. And so I saw this opportunity and it seemed perfect. I am a newly licensed agent, but my role with my current group is I'm the talent acquisition and retention specialist.
Nice.
Came on to help us really grow our team. We're going, Northern California to Southern California. So I bring on 10 to 15 new agents about 8 to 9, every 8 to 9 weeks. And so with this, I really wanted to, again, our vision really is about investing in agents and agents development long term. So it really is a culture. We need people that like to work on a team and support each other. So I love, like what you said, really, I want to work on my social to ensure that I'm attracting the right, fit for people that will complement what we're growing here.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Ashley, did you want to introduce yourself real quick, friend? I think you're in the car, but anybody else that has their camera off, I know there's quite a few of you. You're welcome. I mean, this call can be whatever. And the way that it goes with Real Social as well. So again, for those of you that just came in, Real Social, the ladies had something come up, and so they'll be back with us next month. But what we do is it's very much a Q&A. And so we're talking and you guys are able to pop on, turn your screens on, ask questions. And so we can do the same thing with that as well today. And you're welcome to bring any questions even outside of social media, but the call, we really do kind of focus on social media. So Gina, did you want to introduce yourself real quick? I just want to give anybody a chance that kind of wants to say who they are and where they are a shot.
Yeah, sure. I'm Gina Goswich. I think I'm the oddball in the group. I am a massage therapist. Michaela's brought me into all of these awesome events that she puts on, including this one. I'm currently living in my first investment property, kind of sprucing it up. Just had my first baby this year, so very slowly getting back into working and back to working on my house. I also own a vending machine business with my husband, and just kind of looking to get back on socials and develop and myself better in any way that I can with all my businesses.
Love that. Well, I love that.
Also have one of my agents with me in the car as well, and I wanted to introduce herself because we both were like, let's tune into this call. So
oh, I love it.
She just said, I'm Shantae. I obviously live in the Emerald Coast area as well. I have been a solo agent for 2 years and got connected with Michaela because at EXP, when I first became an agent, I was a part of Socially Modern Co. With Stephanie Mainville. And then I just like watched Michaela for quite some time because obviously she's powerhouse in my area. And when I saw Kristen made the move to Reel, I was like, I'm only going to join Reel if Michaela is also going because I want connection down here. And so, yeah, connected with her and things are going good. Mom of 3, and yeah, I only do real estate though.
which is perfect.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
a lot too in itself. We don't all have to be crazy.
Totally a lot.
Yeah.
Highly don't recommend
We
what I'm
don't all have to be crazy. Well, I love that. And I think that, that really kicks us off on a powerful note, and something that, we're all here on this call for is like, does social media really work for attraction? And whether that's our buy and sell clients or whether that's, partners and agents that we want to align with, like, does it? And what I loved about that story is like, Michaela, you were just showing up and being authentic. And so she was watching you and she probably hadn't even reached out to you, but then it was like instant opportunity. And it was different because like Elisa, you probably have met with agents where it's a very like cold thing. And it's like, you're having to tell them all about your culture and you're having to tell them all about your business. Whereas when you are consistently showing up on social, you don't have to do that. Like your social acts as that, almost that ongoing commercial that is always playing for your business. And so the connection is so different. But has anybody ever experienced awkwardness around that? Like when somebody reaches out from social and they 1000% know you and you're like, I have no idea who you are.
I don't know. I end up just being really flattered and like honored that they're paying attention, because sometimes social media can feel very one-sided conversation, right? Because it's like us talking to the camera or pictures of us, and we're just putting content that we see as value out into the internet and hoping that it's being received by people that are our like ideal colleague or our ideal clients. And so I choose to think of it as very flattering. It's like, you see me, and we should probably be friends. So I like to think of it that way. And really cool things can come from that. Like some of my closest friendships, like Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen randomly hosted a training when she was at EXP, and I attended the training and I was like, I love what she's doing. And then proceeded to Instagram stalk her for a while. And now we're close friends. So it's cool what social media can really do in our lives and in our business. It allows us to connect with people that we may otherwise would have never met.
Well, and I think that that's social media tip 1 today, right? So if you want to get some tangible, tactical, takeaways from this call, step 1 is to authentically engage. So I think we're all guilty of this, whether we are brand new on social media and we have 100 people, or whether we have, 5,000 people, we hear about the tools. And the tools can be great, like the chat GPTs and the different tools that you can put in place to make sure that like information is being delivered. Those can be really good and really valuable. But I know I have felt like where I've reached out to somebody and then I've got like that kind of canned response, or I've got the response that makes me feel like maybe they just don't have time for me. So I think that, you know, it starts with showing up on social. And then as you start to show up on social, you have to be authentic in your response as well. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to control the, I'm trying to control all the people entering and deliver goods. But so I think it is really important, as you know, to start that engagement, and then to have strategy about taking that conversation offline too, especially with buyers and sellers, right? Like how can I actually move this person into my database and start to put them in my ecosystem as a buyer and a seller. So I love that, Michaela. That was really good. Okay, I want to make sure we answer specific questions. That's typically what we do, is we you can drop them in the chat, or you can go ahead and turn your camera on. But who has a specific question around social, or wants to share a win or a struggle? Like, let's dive into what you guys need from this call. Is everybody just crushing it on social?
I got my first lead off of TikTok, and I don't even pour into my TikTok that much, so that was exciting.
Yay, that's a good win.
Does it make you feel like now you should be spending some strategic time on that platform?
Yes and no. I still pour into my Instagram way more, and I'm fine with that. But I definitely have tried to remember before I post them, so I put them on TikTok without the Instagram stamp on them.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously planning, I just hired a VA, so I feel like I'll have a little bit more time to focus on that. But before, I was like, I'm not gonna stress myself out over 2 content pillars. I'm just gonna keep rolling on Instagram, but I was very excited about it.
Yeah, I love that. I want to share a tool. You kind of cut out, so maybe you were saying, I know you were saying something about like repurposing your content and that you don't want the watermark on there. So I grew my chocolate company following on TikTok to about 146,000 followers. And I obviously was like very focused on TikTok and not as much on Instagram, but I saw the value in growing Instagram, but I didn't want the watermark, and I didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel every time I would post. So if you want to use the same stuff, there's this really amazing free website, and you can do it on your iPhone or whatever phone you have. And it's called Snaptik, SNAPTIK, just like TikTok, right? And you basically copy and paste the link to your video from TikTok, and it will remove the watermark from that. And you can download your video without the watermark. And there's also one for Instagram. So if you create all your content in Instagram, I'll find it, I'll send it to you. But basically it's like it's Insta something. Anyway, whatever. You can find it. If you find Snaptik, you can find the one for Instagram, but you can input the URL link for your Instagram videos and then download them without any watermark, and then just put them right onto TikTok. So it makes it a lot easier to repurpose content and not have those watermarks in the background.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you. That was so helpful. I'm definitely
Insta Snap, I want to say, is what it's called. So
okay, cool. I'm gonna have my VA get that and download all the ones already on my Instagram. Because the thing is, I posted on Instagram for a year and a half without ever posting TikTok, and a lot of those performed really well. So I'm just gonna repurpose them and then keep going.
yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I will say, so I tend to focus a little more on Instagram too, Meredith. And something I do is I just leave mine downloadable, and then my VA downloads them and grabs them, and then she puts them in Metricool. I use Metricool. I don't know if you guys use it, but I use Metricool because I kind of like, I was my own bottleneck in like, because I'm such a control freak. I don't know if anybody else struggles with like being a total control freak over their social, but I'm like such a control freak that I would bottleneck things. So now if it's on Insta, I'm fine with it. That's me. I've made it. I've written the caption. I posted it. So I just allow it to be downloadable so my VA can take it, put it on Metricool, and put it everywhere else. And so, yeah, so it goes anywhere and everywhere else. And I just got over the watermark. I think that that's another thing that's really important in social is there's so many times that we don't post something that is like really good because of something simple like the watermark, or something simple because like we didn't, like one time, like I had a really, really good listing video and it was just a really, really bad hair day. I was like, that's not what my hair looks like. And my, like, it was just, and I didn't even want to post it. And I was like, if I don't post it, like I'm being silly. And so I think when we can get out of our mindset too and just post it and like let people receive it, that's really good. But I love that win, Meredith. Hey, Jesse, I'm glad you jumped on here. We introduced ourselves. If you want to introduce yourself real quick, not everybody took their camera off and did, but since you're showing us your face, we'd love to hear from you.
Sorry, I just got back from my Botox appointment, so I'm a little so I am a realtor in Arizona, and since you're talking about social media, this year I've been hitting social media really hard. It kind of changed my direction on social media and it's starting to pay off. So I'm super excited about that. I just started going hard into videos. So I've been getting extra leads through social media and it's helped. So I like it.
I love that. Are you having any like struggles or successes that you want to share?
I'm struggling selling my listings right now. I'm getting listings and it's great, but they just aren't moving. So that's the big struggle. I'm trying anything and everything to sell them. And it's a hard market right now.
It is. I also have some listings that are stale and I have one that has been sitting. And then I think we just found out, well, we're still trying to decipher it, but the HOA seems like they've screwed things up. And so now the HOAs become uninsurable. And so like we're going to have to eliminate FHA buyers based off of the HOA's poor management. And then that's going to kind of crush us because of the price point. So like a stale listing potentially is going to get less opportunity. So I feel that pain. I do think though that that's a really good point, because has anybody ever struggled with like putting something on social and then not wanting to be repetitive? Like, okay, I put that listing on social and now I don't want to put it on social 15 more times. Has that been a struggle for anybody? Jesse, you're good with that? Like you're good putting it back on?
I just feel like you have to put it on there at least 6 times for the majority of your audience to see it anyways, because the first time you post it, 6 people are going to see it. So I've always just thought, you know what, put it out there as many times as I want. And then if they don't want to see it again, they scroll right past it. But as long as you can get as many eyes on it as you can, just keep posting it.
So I love it. And that was the exact like takeaway that I wanted the ladies who are listening to take away from this, is that like we in our heads, we feel like, oh my gosh, I already said this, right? But odds are that the people in our audience didn't hear it. They did not hear it. And I'm always shocked at like people were like, it's the one house that I'm like in love with that I like post 50 times because of my own love for it. Then people are like, I saw that one house. And I'm like, you only saw it one time. I posted like 50. And those are the aha moments. So I think that is super important.
Yeah, for sure. Even when I run out of content ideas in my brain, I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to think of. I'll go back like 6 months in my videos and be like, oh, I can talk about that again. And then I just just keep reiterating all the information you already pour out.
Well, and to give you guys a little bit of a teaser, we've done this before at a few different levels, and we have this coming in. I'm so excited about it. One of our leaders and one of the ladies in our tribe reached out to Kristen and was like, hey, what if we lead this? And so we've done this in the last couple of years, a handful of times, where we do like collaborative posts. And it's kind of like, you know, here's what 450,000 buys in, you know, New Mexico, and here's what it buys in Nevada, and here's what it buys in Arizona. And so on the social component, we're going to be launching another group. Not another Facebook group. There's no other Facebook groups coming, but within our group, we're going to have hand raisers that want to be part of kind of like a social collective where we work together and we really to help expose our properties and our markets. And so I'm really excited for that too. And I think that'll make it fun. Okay, what else? Lisa, is there something specific like that you would love to get from the call today? Since you're the one showing your face, sorry, I'm like, I know there's a bunch of other ones, but I'm depending on them to drop stuff in the chat. What could we help you with on the call today?
You know what, honestly, at this point, I have, you know, social media and Instagram has always just been more of a personal thing and it hadn't been used for work. So I'm completely brand new on this. I'm, you know, sharing what I'm, you know, from my team and from my brokerage, but I'm just needing to get myself out there and doing a little more. So I just wanted to, you know, hear ideas and what works best in doing it. But yeah, I'm like super at the beginning of it. We have a lot of great tools that are given to us too with, for framework and just templates and whatnot. So
I honestly think that you're in one of the most powerful and exciting places to be, because storytelling is so powerful. And so this is like a perfect opportunity for you to begin the story, even with your own personal sphere and like your own personal market. Like, hey guys, you're going to start to see a little bit more business, and here's why. Here's what my mission is. And you can really speak to that mission. Like maybe it's, growing our team by 40 agents this year, and not just any agents, but agents that are XYZ. And as you start to put that message out, it will be so cool to watch, because even people like I literally will run into people that have nothing to do with real estate, and they're like, oh, I'm looking for this for you, or I'm doing this for you. And so I would say start with actually starting to tell the story and get intentional. Right. And it feels silly to us because we often think like, why would anybody care? But think about everything that everybody does. Like nobody is vested in like the 150 HGTV shows they watch. Like nobody is actually getting something. They're watching it because they like watching somebody else's experience and story. And so that's kind of the same thing. Kate, did you want to offer something?
I wanted to ask, I know Jessie just said she's been leaning more into video. I obviously follow like Michaela and Kristen and Randy's stuff pretty closely, but as you're ramping up, for example, I started a new Instagram when I moved over to Reel, and I never had my business separate from my personal. So what starts to create like kind of the following or the traction? Is it more like you talking at the camera about your day to day? Or is it your reels that are related to the type of business you're doing? Like, what do you guys get the most out of? And do you have an intentional rotation, or is it whatever you think of? Because it's so hard to like keep the stockpile of content.
Yeah. So for me personally, like my biggest recommendation to agents, any entrepreneur, doesn't matter what their business is consistency. And I know that seems like such an oversimplified answer, but it doesn't matter. Like you can complicate social media as much as you want. And you can go down rabbit holes of like, I have to post on this Tuesday about this specifically. And you can get as organized as you want to if your schedule allows it. But like what does move the needle with getting more traction, more authentic followers, more people that are really engaged and interacting with your content is consistency. So post every day. I don't care if you are posting about attracting buyers, sellers, investors, like sharing B-roll clips from Kate from your investment properties and you working on them and like sharing insight about that, pop on your stories, like whatever it is, show up consistently, post something every day if you can. It really doesn't matter, because what matters is cumulatively over time. That's what matters. So you mix it up. I don't think
it's like you want it to look nice and have a cohesive, like professional looking grid, but at the same time, I don't want to pay someone to follow me around with a camera all the time.
You absolutely don't need to.
Yeah.
What you've been doing is phenomenal. And like another thing that I do like to do, especially if you want to have somewhat of a cohesive look, is pop on Canva and go to their pre-made reels, and then tailor them to have your branding colors and stuff like that, and pop in some video from your iPhone. And I make a ton of good content that way, and it's easy. It's so easy to then schedule it in Meta Business Scheduler and just kill two birds with one stone. It posts on Instagram and Facebook. You can customize the caption and hashtags and whatever for each post. But yeah, what
percentage of your posts are you doing through a scheduler versus just one-offs?
I wish I had more time to schedule things out, but the reality is right now in my life, I don't. And so I am batch making content. So I have content in my phone, but if I am ahead of the game and feel like really good, like last week I did schedule like 2 posts, and that was a big win for me, but it doesn't have to be complicated. I know that's a tool if I feel ahead of the game, and I can,
schedule out a few things, but otherwise I'm just pulling things that are in my drafts. I'm pulling things that are in my, in my photo album, and I'm creating content in the Instagram app and then posting it to my business Facebook at the same time when I go to post that. Or I'll just hop in the stories and then I like use my strategic hashtags, a few of them, and like tag people that I'm talking about or local businesses I'm talking about. And then I'm showing up for my community, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated, but what I do stress is just consistency. So get in there every day, because like Randi was saying at the beginning of this, is like, you don't know who's watching.
Right.
I'm always shocked when I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's been following me for forever, and now they want to join me at Reel, or now they want to be part of Empowered by Connection, or now they want to do business with me, and like they're a new investor. And they're like, yeah, I've been watching you for a long time. It's always shocking and flattering,
Yeah.
because sometimes it can feel like we're talking to no one on the internet, but just consistency. That's my biggest thing. Randi, what about you?
Yeah, so I definitely would say consistency, but I would also say it's really important to figure out who you're talking to and not speak to everyone. Speak to your people and speak specifically to people, and really niching down. And that is really, I think, sometimes hard when we're on social, because the idea is like it's one to many. And that's one of the beautiful things about social, is that you're speaking one to many, but you can't keep it too broad. And so for me, I've really learned to niche down and show up very authentically. And I also think that, like to your point, you said I started a professional profile, and then I have a personal profile. My biggest aha has been not separating them. So I've always had professional profiles, right? I have a professional profile for my business. I have a page, I have a Facebook page, I have an Instagram. It exists. I think it exists. My business doesn't come from those. My business comes from my personal. And the bottom line is that people want to do business with who they trust and who they like. And so if we just show up in one capacity, they might learn to trust us because we're obviously the professional, or we obviously know how to do the flips, or we know how to do the short-term rentals, or whatever it is. But if we don't show up personally, then they don't know if they like us. And so it's really important to do both, show up, in both capacities. And then, like I said, don't be afraid of, like, I even put out one, and I'll be really honest, I was a little watered down on it. So you got to find something that you really enjoy doing. This has been my key to social, and then play into it. So anybody that works with us, and you got to think about this, Kate, like, again, when we're talking about niching down, think about your avatar and think about the people you love to work with, and then how do you attract more of them, right? So what I was able to decipher is, in my production business, the people that I loved working with loved the fact that we had like this unique banter about us as a family team. People that I loved working with always were like, you guys crack me up, or you guys are so funny, or I love how you guys do this or that. So I found what they loved, and then I expose that to the people that don't work with us. So if you follow me, you'll see my daughter and I do these videos where they're like 30-second videos. And we just talk about something that we actually talk about. Like when she told me I was too old to say, I don't remember what it was, but I was too old to say something. So we were debating that. Well, then most recently, we were talking about dogs, and I like tiptoed around it on a little bit because I didn't want to offend pet owners, because I know that's a big, big audience. But I do think there's like this problem with like people thinking they can take their pets anywhere. Like, I don't want to eat my lunch next to your like basset hound. Like, that's not what I want to do, right? So we had a conversation around it. My DMs blow up every time we post those. But again, just like find the connector. I love working with this person. How do I get 10 more of these people? Okay, so here people are gonna love me or hate me. I'm not quiet about my faith or my political views, right? And I was very hesitant about that. But when I realized that the people I love selling houses to came to me because I wasn't quiet about that, it empowered me to get louder about that. So I think that that's where it's really important, whether you're looking to attract buyers, sellers, investors, agents, you have got to identify who is your ideal avatar. Who do you want to be talking to, right? And who do you want to be empowering? For me, it's Christian moms in real estate. Like, that's my primary audience that I hope. Of course, I'm honored, like Michaela said, I'm honored to talk to anybody. And I'm a hopeful and honored to serve anybody. In fact, my number one rating advocate, number one client, has sent me 11 deals in the last 8 months. is a straight up self-proclaimed atheist, and I love her to death, but she knows exactly who I am. So I think Kate really starting to lean into who you want to attract and showing up consistently and speaking directly to them is going to be like your secret sauce 100%.
Yeah, I love that.
I do have concerns about, is your one account public?
It is.
So I have 2 and 5-year-old kids, and I'm just so like, I love posting about my family and lifestyle within my community. And that has brought me clients in a more personal, organic way. But my professional page that I started is public, and I've been cross sharing anything that's work related, but I just have, it makes me nervous to post my kids to the internet.
And I think that that's totally valid. And that is a personal decision. Like, I originally started professional pages, and I go back and forth. I, of course, get a lot more interaction on my public, like personal ones. And those are bigger accounts, but at the same time, like, I get it. And there's a lot of women who feel the same way about the same topic. So know that you can absolutely have both. And you can absolutely like cross post, cross share. I do it every day, and that's totally fine. And know that I think it's important for you to be sure to post your business stuff on your personal, because sometimes we're like, oh, well, now I have this separate real estate account or this separate business account. I should probably like chill on the real estate stuff on my personal page. And no, you should absolutely always share your professional business stuff to your personal, because those people already know and love you, and you want to remind them what they can expect of you, and like what your job is, and what they can come to you and count on you for. So so do both, but make sure that you are sharing and cross posting to your personal stuff as well.
But I think that's a really good point as like moms, because Kate, I would be lying to you if I didn't say that, like, sometimes I've almost like felt like a big heavy sense of guilt, because I feel like I've given my grandkids a digital footprint. And I once read this post that was like, it was a little extra, but it basically said, like, every time you put the kids online, you're creating their digital footprint. I think it's one of those things that is heavily personal, like Michaela said. Like, you kind of have to take a deep breath and decide like what will work for you and what won't, and what you're comfortable with and what your family's not comfortable with, because it is very different. So like, my daughter is my business partner. She's my production business partner, and her demographic is much more on social. So like, I really try to get her to lean into social, and it's just not what she wants to do. Like, she hates it. She despises it. She doesn't want to be on it. That's not like how she wants to live life. One time she just like hit me in the gut, because I was like, that picture you posted was kind of weird. And she was like, well, I mean, it was an authentic moment, but if you want, I can go back and I can like fake it and take a picture of that and then post that. And I was like, oh my gosh, who raised you? Like, that was so brutal. But so I've had to accept, like, for her, she doesn't want to do that. But then for me, I'm so on the internet that, like, it's almost like, our family had to get comfortable with the stuff I put out there. So I do want to just say to anybody listening to this and watching this and like learning from this, I think that that's where you need to start, is like sitting down and personally saying, like, how much do I want to invest, and what am I comfortable with, and what is my family comfortable with? Because I didn't have that conversation, and I did grow a much larger following, and I grew much larger communities than I ever expected. And like, the first time my kids ran into somebody in public and were like, how does that person know me and know everything about me? Like, I had to realize that I didn't really realize that was ever going to happen to them. So I just want to like say, I think sometimes we downplay that concern, but that is a real concern. And so I do think you got to think about that. And I really love that Michaela said, like, if you do have people in your personal circle that you're comfortable with, then get really comfortable sharing your business with them. And just don't ever follow the vanity metrics. Don't ever feel like, and this is the biggest thing I tell agents all the time, like, nobody's business needs 500 advocates. Nobody's, okay? Nobody needs 500 advocates, but the key is advocate. What is an advocate? An advocate is somebody that doesn't just refer you. An advocate is somebody that will inject themselves in a conversation to refer you. So I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your lunch, but I just heard you talking about like short-term rentals. I got to tell you about my girl, Michaela. Like, she has 120. This is why you have to call Michaela, right? You only need 5 to 10 advocates in your business. And so what happens with us, especially with the way real estate has become and the fact that now everybody's on real estate and everybody's like an influencer, is like all of a sudden we think we need a following of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. And then all of a sudden we start behaving and we start making our decisions of how we post, when we show up, what we post, where we post, all based off of growth and metrics and not actual conversion. And so, Kate, I would say, like, if you have a strong personal sphere, like, lean into that. It doesn't have to be public. And you might be the exception to the rule where you run 2 profiles and you put out enough of a taste that you just use the public profile to filter into your personal profile, right? Like, that's what I would do. I would use that as like a boundary endpoint. Like, I have my inner circle. I know nobody believes that. Everybody's like, no, everybody knows everything about you. No, I actually have an inner circle that only sees like the unfiltered me. And so that's okay to have that boundary point. Okay, I love that. I love that, Kate. I think that was such a good thing that we never ever talk about around around social, and I love that. Okay, so Karen, I think we've all dropped. If everybody else wants to drop their handle in, Karen was just saying she would love to see ideas. And I do some scripts. I do talking head videos. I like them. They help me. I'm very wordy. If you've ever hung out with me, I can like make something way longer than it needs to be. So I like to do scripts just so that I'm delivering better value. But just make sure it doesn't feel like you're doing a script. Like, you want to get comfortable with it. And even in real estate in general, like, I'm not a script person, but I believe that if you can have scripts in your head and you can digest the point of the script, it can better equip you to have the conversation. Okay, good. All right, what else do we have? I know we're kind of coming up on time, but I love all of this stuff. Anything else the ladies on camera or off camera want to share? I know we have a bunch of you off camera, and I just want to make sure you're getting good value on the call as well. Kind of feel like we're trying to stare at them, but we can't see them, so. All right, well, if nobody else has anything, quick recap, next month. Oh wait, hold on, there was something real quick. Oh, just a handle. Okay, so next month we will be back with Real Social. And so each month, you know, this is what Whitney and Kim do. They help you, they coach, they mentor, but they show up with, you know, total just delivering value and totally advising and giving tactical tips and answering all of the questions. So each month you'll want to mark your calendar, because this is where you can come get in the hot seat and ask your questions directly. So anyway, thank you ladies for popping on here with us today. Jesse, thanks for popping in. Bye guys, have a wonderful day.